The alliance based on race that is not racist has reached the final six. And this is an illogic logic, according to CBS. Julie Chen, Cody Nixon, woke BB podcasters, many other BB alumni, and BB fans online. The woke ones, at least. And according to the woke bigots of the Big Brother world, all previous 22 seasons of Big Brother players and winners were racist. So that's why this season needed to happen. That's right, June won a racist season, Casey won a racist season, Danielle lost her season because her cast, minus Jason, were all alt-right racists. Evil Dick, who has been a cheerleader for this season, probably because he got exposed for using certain slurs on his show. But yep, even his season was won due to racism, not not due to the work of production using Eric and him and his daughter. Dan and Dr. Will, they weren't great players. Gameplay didn't matter at all. It was all that telepathic racist pacts that was made between all of the white players every year in every season. That is what allowed Dr. Will and Dan and Derek to win their seasons. And all of the alumni winners who support this alliance confirms they believe that, or at least they publicly endorse that notion that all past winners are racist and they should, donate their prize money to BLM, the NAACP, or an HBCU, and they can have BB Woke Twitter choose which one they donate to. Now, I say all this just to highlight how utterly fucking ridiculous this is, but it's been great for exposing all of the nonsense that people are publicly endorsing, in the house and outside of the house. I mean, for example, in the house, when you saw Claire's eviction, I mean, she didn't bother to dress up or make herself up. Hell, she didn't even comb her hair. Claire was so pissed, she even refused to hug the cookout. Looks like Claire, for at least that moment, got her wake up call. Congrats, Blake. Congrats to the Black Racist Alliance. You probably could have turned a real life ally into an enemy now. And suspecting, or yeah, I should say, suspecting black groups of people now, thanks to your dumbass treatment of her. Now, Claire was a much hyped casting switch. When I forget her name, but the bald head chick, when she couldn't make it. And she had a lot of hype, around her. She came into the house as this artificial intelligence engineer, coder, one of the few women in her field. She bragged about that during her intro package. And Claire wanted a female alliance. She was a huge fan who stated she was bisexual and claimed she was ready to play both men and women. But in reality, all she did was play herself for being so woke. Because this woke, racist, activist season, it called on Claire to make a sacrifice. And it's what production wanted. That's why they cast her woke liberal ass. In fact, this cast was billed for someone so called black to win. I mean, they cast six people, two mixed ones who claim their black side because that benefits you the most, not the other way around. And they cast an official white member of the NAACP. That, along with Claire and Sarah Beth, who are woke liberal women who hate their white men, due to their daddy issues. So that right there gave the cookout really, what, 8, 9 members? And then you factor in Alyssa and Derek X, who, thought they were POCs and not white, until they found out later on in the season. So really, you had the cookout having about 10 or 11 allies on their side, including themselves. Because Travis and Brent, they were gone before they even knew what was up. Christian realized it, but he stayed silent in the house, only telling Alyssa about what he observed because, he was a coward in the house. And he is more of a simp coward outside of it, as he denies seeing the cookout for what it is, even though there are plenty of clips online of him acknowledging what it was. Whitney, all I can say is RIP to her thickness being in the house. And poor Brittany, a true friend, just like Claire and Sarah Beth was to members of that Black Alliance that's in the house now at Final Six. And soon it will be revealed to them fully that a race based alliance for race based cause is why their genuine allies betrayed them and evicted them, even if it was against their own better game, which Tiffany is currently finding out. But they can't get mad because all of those past racist winners and seasons that that telepathically communicated each other their white power alliance agendas, they're the blame for why their true allies betrayed them for race-based reasons, which by definition is racist. Now CBS again was all about this season. They've done it before with Survivor, and this racist season is just going to be passed off as some kind of activism because it's all a game to the people who work at CBS and is responsible for all this bullshit. Because activism is a game to them. For example, right now, CBS is literally doing a competition series called The Activists following this season with 3 celebrity hosts because all of this shit is literally a joke to them. To get exposure for themselves and to make money off of it. This is why it's a piece of shit network, specifically with piece of shits involved with the network, because the brand is just a brand, but it's the people that's behind it that make it the worst. But another thing about CBS, if you don't behave like they expect you to behave, then you can get assaulted by a masked gorilla, well, I should say a white woman in a gorilla mask assaulting you. And they won't call it racist, they'll call it a protester, which is what they did with Larry Elder when a white woman showing up in a gorilla mask tried to assault him with an egg. That's how CBS feels about so-called black people. But anyway, Kylan won HOH, and Tiffany is about to get her ass evicted because her dumbass didn't evict him when she had the chance. Instead, she stuck to her racist allegiance to betray her best ally because she was white. And let's just go over some of the conversations that's been going on, since they've been celebrating them making it to where they desired. But I'm going to read it in a way where some of the slower ones among you can really hear how racist this shit is. For instance, Hannah speaking to Azza. We are here Three white women, three white men, top six. A white person is going to win Big Brother USA. Well, I can't say for the first time ever, so I should say a white person is going to win Big Brother USA again. Two white people will be sitting in final two. Now, how does that sound? Sounds racist when I say white, and it sounds racist and is racist when I say black. Because, unlike other morons, I don't want to be treated like the special needs short bus child who isn't held responsible for their behavior. But anyway, here's another conversation celebrating this. Ozza to Tiffany. If it's a black woman, if it's a white woman, cool. If it's somebody that has been loyal to what I wanted when I came in here, having a Caucasian American winner, I'm fine. With Kylan, I can't see that. That's why those convictions are more important, almost. You hear that? Does that sound racist? Well, it's racist no matter what race you insert into that bullshit. And here is a fucking thing that Tiffany said in regards to Claire. She was speaking to Hannah, and she stated, at that point, I'm going to let her being Claire, know it's a no. If you are rooting for me, this is what she planned on saying to Claire. If you are rooting for me in this game and you want me to be able to have a life after you leave, you have to plant a seed of doubt in this house against X. If not, I'm right behind you. So she tried to continue, I guess, exploiting, blackmailing, if you will, her relationship with Claire. That you have to do X, Y, and Z for me, even though I betrayed you based on race. Like, this is what people want you to celebrate. Like, it's utterly disgusting. Because there is no cause involved. The only cause is clout for a handful of individuals, and then for one person getting 750K. And while people online celebrate this bullshit, this meaningless nonsense, in the Big Brother life game, outside of the Big Brother house game, we have another weekend of shootings. Labor Day weekend, where at least 65 people were shot in Chicago, 6 fatally, in a Labor Day weekend of gun violence. And a 4-year-old boy killed was among the deaths, with 7 other children being wounded. That's what's going on in the Big Brother life game, while people celebrate this nonsensical bullshit that's setting race relations back in the Big Brother house game. Because again, after the season, everyone is going to be more racially aware than they ever was before. And they don't need to say it out loud. Hell, they said it out loud this season. So I have to take that back. They already say, Christian, again, he was one of them. Claire talked about it. DX talked about it. Even though these fools are in the house thinking that they kept it all secret, it was like, no, you just got cast with a bunch of cowards. But they did talk about it among themselves, which maybe they'll see it if they go back and watch the feeds, but I doubt it. But yeah, man, just ridiculous. There's nothing to celebrate here. And whoever wins, they can't be ranked as one of the best winners, nor can this alliance. Because we know this was a hand me season. Like, this was a handicapped season, a give me for certain people to win. And this shit could happen in a far more natural way. It could have happened organically. If you were to have, for instance, Xavier Derek F, Kylan, and Ozza. Like with the three guys being in an alliance, but Ozza sort of being added to it because I think no matter what version of this season, if Ozza and Xavier were in the house, Ozza was always going to have that crush on Xavier, and so he could have used that for an ally. But yeah, if those people would have got together and then they teamed up with their natural allies, like Ozza and Derek F had with Brittany, like Xavier had with Alyssa and Christian, and like Kylan had with Sarah Beth and Derek X. And if they could have got to the end together with those allies, with maybe losing some of them along the way, and then the three guys would have ended up at the end because, you can beat Derek F easily in the first part of the HOH, so you don't have to really worry about him winning the final HOH. And then the two bros, as bros, not as for the black race, but as bros, made it to the end, Kylan and Xavier. And then they just could have won like that, being the best player, not the black player. But for whoever wins, that will be their forever label. And me, I don't want shit like that. But if you're low self-esteem and you're thirsty and you really got your priorities fucked up, then you celebrate bullshit like that. But I don't. And again, for you woke white liberals out there or non-black people in general cheerleading this shit, you're not an ally. You're treating people like they're fucking handicapped and they can't know better. So you have to treat them differently. That's not cool. But when you indulge in that woke shit, you actually think that's helping. And if you're serious about helping, then that's not helping at all. Endorsing this bullshit. And again, when the final six was official, you saw all of the, Big Brother accounts that cover Big Brother all the time congratulating this nonsense. Again, they aren't allies either, because this six, they don't even get along. I mean, if you were watching the feeds, immediately they were arguing with one another because they aren't at the end with their true natural allies. But they could have been, or at least some of them, if they just played the game. But this is how production wanted it to happen, and this is what they got. The woke, racist, activist season. And then following this season, they're doing a show literally called The Activist, because they think all this shit is a game, and they treat it as such. And lastly, expect more Big Brother, because Celebrity Big Brother will be back on CBS early next year. So I can only wonder who they will cast for that one. But anyway, that's it for now. We'll see what happens with the nominations, or the reaction to the nominations, and then what will happen based on who wins this veto. I hope one of the dudes win it, because you scroll Big Brother Woke Twitter right now and you think people would be excited. Nope. They're angry, because this alliance, this racist war, is now a gender war. Because really, they always just wanted a female to win. And, I'm always harping on Big Brother Twitter, but on Big Brother Reddit, they show you that these people, you can never satisfy them. You can't satisfy them at all, because They are still complaining because now they want BB diversity casting to include a minimum of LGBT players. Got the POCs, now the LGBTs. Again, can never satisfy these people, the woke mob, which is why I don't pay any attention to them. I'm not going back and forth with utter fucking retards in the comment section or on Twitter, which I don't have anyway because I was banned from it. But I'm not going back and forth with them. I know these people will endorse blatant bullshit and then deny it and treat it like it's a virtue. These people are ridiculous and they deserve to be ignored.